Joe and Erica, in Department of Justice terms, this is lightning fast reaction to comments made yesterday by Mayor Johnson at a church in Woodlawn. He was talking about the number of black officials in his administration. Here was the comment that set this all in motion.
The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief Operations Officer is a black man. Budget Director is a black woman. Senior Advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business, having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of black folks.
The Justice Department citing that exact moment in this letter to Mayor Johnson today, saying if these kind of hiring decisions are being made for top-level positions in your administration, then it begs the question whether such decisions are also being made for lower-level positions. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prevents employment discrimination, but there are major exceptions, including hiring at places of worship and political appointments, like Johnson's senior staff that he listed Sunday.
They would not be considered employees under Title VII. So even if it were true that he was going out of his way to hire people of a particular race, that would not violate the law.
Carolyn Shapiro from the Chicago Kent College of Law says the DOJ assumption that since Johnson's senior staff is mostly black, that there's discrimination at play is a leap.
It's an enormous leap to say that because Brandon Johnson's top deputies in policymaking positions are African American, that the city is discriminating on the basis of race in its hiring of ordinary non-policymaking employees.
Our people hire our people.
Mayor Johnson, who's been called to Capitol Hill by conservative legislators angry over Chicago's sanctuary city status, has been a repeated target of the Trump White House. Johnson has himself compared Trump policies to terrorism. Late today, his team saying Mayor Johnson is proud to have the most diverse administration in the history of our city. Our administration reflects the diversity and values of Chicago. Unfortunately, the current federal administration does not reflect either. Late today, the mayor's team offered this racial makeup of his 105 employee staff. 34% are black, 30% white, 23% Hispanic, 7% Asian, 5% two or more ethnicities. The DOJ, by the way, is asking the mayor to reach out to continue the investigation and provide materials as they ask for it. And of course, we'll be following it every step of the way.
So Brandon Johnson is in the news again. For those of you who do not know who Mayor Brandon Johnson is, he is the mayor of Chicago. He's very liberal, and he has been under fire by people in his community for the sanctuary city status and for how it seems as if he has been favoring the migrants, the illegal people in the city of Chicago against juxtapose the residents of Chicago, in particular, the black residents who voted for Brandon Johnson. So these people have been upset for a long period of time about Brandon Johnson and his policies. But you have to understand something about Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson is a tool of the Democratic Party, of the Marxists and the communists and the socialists. He is one of these politicians, the ones that part of that black triumvirate, the ones that want to keep black people in a permanent state of victimhood, the ones that want to keep black people constantly thinking about oppression and victimization. He's one of those mayors. That's why Chicago has not thrived under Brandon Johnson. Chicago has not thrived under the policies of Brandon Johnson because the policies of Brandon Johnson are lockstep with the policies of the Marxists and the communists and the socialists. But Brandon Johnson, who is being investigated by the Department of Justice because he went to a church and said that our people hire our people. Code word, black folks hire black folks. Now, I understand what he's saying. I understand the sentiment behind wanting to hire people that look like you. Folks do it all the time. I get that. And whether or not what he said justifies a Department of Justice investigation, if it is a form of discrimination, that's for the Department of Justice to decide. But what I want to talk about is where he made these comments. He was in a church, a black church, the Apostolic Church of God in Chicago, a black church. Why is it that these black pastors constantly have these crooked Democratic politicians speaking in their pulpit? And one thing you must know in this world is that the politicians, the Marxists and the communists and the socialists, their agenda is to keep you poor. And if you have some type of retirement income or retirement savings, it's important to diversify your retirement portfolio. You can do that by investing in gold and silver and other precious metals. To download a free resource that talks about how to invest in gold and silver and other precious metals, please click on the biblicalconservative.com/gold.
I have a question. Your questions get answered, asked and answered. And so we're thankful for him. And so without further ado, I'd like for you to give the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and Apostolic Church of God welcome. All right, man. Bless you, man.
You know that most black churches are in the bag for the Democratic Party. You know that because these Democratic politicians feel so comfortable going and speaking at these churches, knowing that they are advocating for policies that are anti-God and anti-biblical. And they'll justify it by saying that they are caring for the least of these. But that was never the intent what Jesus said. It was never the intent for the government to do that. It's not the government's responsibility to do that. It's for the individuals, the believers, the body of Christ to do that. That's our responsibility, not the government's.
I am so grateful to be in the house of the Lord. I know this is a lakeside chat, but I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And of course, as the band was playing, I just felt that in my spirit. Every praise is to our God. Every form of worship. You all know I'm a church, a church boy at heart. So if you just stay with me long enough, Dr. Brazier has officially given me my ordination. So if I feel my help coming, just hang in there with me. We've also begun to expand our People's Plan for Community Safety. This initiative is working to protect those who have been impacted by violence while also preventing future violence through investments in our people and in our communities. And we are already seeing the fruit of that labor. The month of April was the fewest amount of homicides since 1962.
If that is true, that is great. If there's anyone in the city of Chicago who can vouch for those numbers that he just said for the month of April, please let us know in the comments, because that is great to hear. Truly, that is great to hear. The less number of black children and black people being killed, the better.
Because our mental health matters. And we're making tremendous strides in investing in our young people. This summer, we will have 29,000 jobs available for young people, a 45% increase since I've taken office. The Bible says if you cause a young person to stumble, you're better off tying a millstone around your neck and jumping into the river. And so we are not going to stand in the way of our young people. And I want you to know that if you know any young person that is seeking an opportunity, we have those jobs available. In fact, one of the programs that I'm most proud of, last year, we hired 75 high school seniors in Chicago to participate in a pilot program in our streets and sanitation program. Of those 75, 55 of them are currently still working for the city of Chicago, making $50,000 a year, and in 3 years they will earn $90,000. And this summer, that same program has been offered to 100 high school seniors. Now, as we prepare for this conversation, know that my heart beats for the people of this city. I believe that in order to be an effective leader, you have to be a collaborator, but most importantly, you have to be an effective listener. And so today I'm looking forward to all of your questions. that will ultimately get us closer to building what I believe is possible. The safest, most affordable big city in America, the greatest city in the world, the city of Chicago. God bless you. Let me just say this emphatically. The disdain and the animus towards black educators in this city historically have been reprehensible and, quite frankly, ungodly. We've had administration after administration blame black women for societal failures. Well, in this contract, we protect black veteran educators, because if there's one thing that I know for sure, if you put a child in front of a black woman, that child has no choice but to find their purpose and be successful. That's what this contract does. It also protects black history. I'm going to say that one more again. Black history is American and world history. And if you eliminate us from the school books, then you eliminate all history.
The affirmative action elements in purchasing, it has never seemed to, regardless of the mayor, never seemed to actually get past 5%, 6%, that kind of thing. Help us understand, if in fact we're a business people and we're looking for, we're not looking for a free hand. We're just looking for somebody to do business with us. Just do business. Right? It's not about affirmative action or whether I'm black or not. Just do business with us. If you do business with black people that have the competence to do it, right, then do business. Don't look for somebody else just because we're black. We want to be there. In your administration, what are we doing to ensure that there's multiples across the industries? There are multiple advantages that are not limited to 2-3% of $1 billion spend for the city.
That's right. That's a great question, and it goes back to what Reverend Jackson would always share with me. Our people hire our people. And so one of the ways in which we're ensuring, let me back up for a second. So when we say our people hire our people, I just want to name this. 2 administrations ago, 70 to 75% of the administration was primarily made up of white men. In my administration, 45% of my administration is black, 25% is Latinx, 30% is white, 8% is Asian. It is the most diverse administration in the history of Chicago. And here's why I'm naming this, is because there are some detractors that will push back on me and say, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is, when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? This is how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure, deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask, how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business? Having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of black folks, because that hasn't happened.
So that was just a portion of the sit-down lakeside chat, as they call it, that Mayor Johnson had with the pastor of that church. Our people hire our people. You have to understand something about these church plant pastors and these crooked Democratic politicians. They are usually working together to keep black people in a permanent state of victimhood. Now, what Brandon Johnson said on that stage sounds good, but is he really putting that into play? Is he really putting that into practice? Is he executing on those things that he's saying? See, a lot of times black people get caught up in symbolism. The fact that you got a black mayor, you got a black person in this office, a black person in that office, and at the end of the day, they don't do anything for the community. Look at the cities that are run by black people. You got black mayors, black police chiefs, black fire chiefs. You got black everywhere. But yet the people still struggle. It's not about hiring someone that looks like you. It's about hiring people that are competent and share your values. That's more important than anything else. Well, let me know what you all think in the comments about Mayor Brandon Johnson saying that our people hire our people, and why do these black pastors continue to have these crooked Democratic politicians in their pulpit? We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.